morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. How's it going, guys?
Hey, what a fun football game last night, right?
Man, you know, the primetime games were all awful.
Holy moly.
There wasn't a primetime game that I was excited about. They were all pretty ugly. What's happening, when? Gino, thanks for popping in. The primetime games were rough this week. There were much better games in the earlier slots. Now, obviously, it's too early for flexed out games, but man, if there could have been a week that you would have wanted them, to be fair, you would have thought this was going to be a better game, though.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. Up until that fourth quarter, I didn't get to watch it because guess what? YouTube TV doesn't have ABC and ESPN anymore. By the way, they need to get that back because that is really starting to irritate me. But that's another topic for another day. But I was watching the stats and I was watching that live TV and they were talking about it on there. And it was interesting that up until that fourth quarter, their stats were damn near mirroring each other. You know, I mean, the rushing Jacobs and Barkley, they were averaging the same. I mean, I think 83 was at Barkley and 63 yards was for Jacobs, and it was the same thing if you look on the opposite. I mean, I think if you added both of their passing yardages together in that third quarter, I mean, it was still under 200 yards, and that was blowing my mind. I was like, I didn't expect the offense to be so anemic. But then again, I guess just because that either the defense must have been really, again, I couldn't see it. So I'm assuming that defense just must have been great on both sides.
Yeah, that's not what you were watching, though.
That's not what I was watching.
Both defenses played well.
On the stat sheet, yeah, they were playing well. But I mean, like on the stat sheet, it looked like the defense was doing work. When you were watching it, you were watching just really sloppy play.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I hate it, man. I cannot wait till they get ABC and ESPN back. I don't know if that's a contract thing, but it sucks that you can't. I couldn't watch it. And I'm like, damn.
I mean,
I know. I'm going to have to probably switch carriers. I guess I'm going to have to go to somebody else.
Or the sports bar, because you know who they have? Every TV screen.
Man, I know. Actually, every time I go, the only thing for me is when I go to a sports bar, I'm going to put money into food. I'm going to put money into beer. And I'm like, man, I'm going to tell my budget afford it. And then I got to tell the wife. And I don't know, man. It's a pain in the ass. I don't know. When you guys go to sports bars to watch games, I'm curious. Do you guys spend a lot of money when you're there in food and drinks for what? A 3-hour game, 2-hour game?
It depends on what capacity I'm going there for. If I'm going there as a Seahawk fan to watch the Hawks, then yes, right? I'm spending money on food and drinks and whatever because I'm there as a fan. If I'm going to a Wild Wings or something and I'm going to be there for multiple games because I want to be able to see them all at once and I wanted some wings,
right? I
tend to not drink a ton because I'm, making notes and writing stuff down. So right. I still smash through my wings like not good. But a lot of times I'll actually just be drinking, like a Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or something because, I'm trying to actually make notes and stuff. Whereas when I go as a fan, I don't have to care because I'm going to watch it again as an analyst later.
Right.
So it just depends on how it is I'm watching. Jeremy, what's up, buddy?
So how cold was it yesterday? Static guy. I
know not bad. It was probably mid-30s during the day, and then during the game it was upper 20s, so it wasn't terrible.
Nice. I don't know. Upper 20 still sounds pretty brutal.
So we're playing with Instagram today, and good to know that the Instagram comments don't come through. But my buddy James said, "What's the honest opinion of show?" And I thought he looked good against Carolina. I honestly thought Carolina was going to win that game. And, thanks to the Panthers for messing up my my pick 'em, but also the suicide pick, because I thought for sure that was the slam dunk. But no, I mean, your quarterback looked good, James. I liked what we saw out of him, right? I mean, it almost makes you think maybe they should have moved on from Rattler a little sooner. But, at the end of the day, I liked the upside of the kid. We'll put it that way, right? Obviously, it was a one game. Who knows, right? Because when it's one game, you don't have a lot of tape on people. But I'm very curious to see what he does moving forward.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Saints game or?
Little tiny bit of it. I just kind of sporadically turned it on when I could watch it. I didn't really have any. Obviously, the only player that I cared about, well, two of them. I had Olave and Dowdle for fantasy, so.
For weather, I got that. Yeah, I didn't catch that game either. How about the Eagles? Yeah, it was a good game. We were just talking about that.
Well, no, it wasn't a good game. Like it, and you're right. It did look a lot like the Raiders Broncos. It was the primetime games were kind of terrible.
I just want to know what the Pack thinking on their last possession though. Like you knew your kicker has a bad leg. He's injured. You had like 6 seconds left. Why are you not trying to run like an 8-yard out to shorten up that 64-yard field goal? Because how bad that kick was, you had a better chance of making a touchdown on a Hail Mary than he did to make that field goal.
Yeah, I did. Now that I did hear about. They were talking about that.
And even if he doesn't shank that kick as bad as he did, he was having a hard time getting it to the goal post from 55 yards out in warmups because he's got a bad leg right now. You had a better chance to score from 64 yards on a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but I mean, not just that. Like the wind was real there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that kick was horrid.
Yeah, even the kick that he took before it. I mean, it was still 5 yards short.
Yeah, that's why they just chucked the Hail Mary and hope for a penalty. They had a better shot of getting that.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because a lot of times when you get that free try, a lot of kickers end up nailing the second one if they miss. So, I get the idea behind it, but it was so far away and it was windy. It's cold out, so the ball's not going to fly as far. Like there was so many things going against it. Then of course you have the kicker. He's got a leg injury. So, I mean, like I don't know. It seemed like you should probably just chuck it up there and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they'd have got that either. Because for a Hail Mary, as windy as it seemed to be, the higher you went and as high as you chuck a Hail Mary to get it down there, that thing might have sailed out of bounds too. So
right, exactly.
So I don't know if there was a great option there. You really needed to pick up 10 yards rather than the way that drive kind of went. So I accredit that to inefficiency leading up to that point as opposed to just a bad kick.
Yeah.
But
how was the wind? Was the wind pretty? Was it pretty brutal out there?
It was like 10 miles an hour. But how it works at Lambeau though is that 10-mile-an-hour wind is like a swirling wind for how it comes down the stadium. So there's not really. So when you're a kicker or like a punter, there's not really a direct line you can practice with. Like if you see the wind blowing from right to left, you can practice basically dragging the ball to the right and having the wind push it back. But at Lambeau, like it's a swirling wind. You don't really have a direct line where you can play the wind. It's pretty much you just got to drill it and hope for the best.
Yeah, if you watched some of that game, you actually see the flags off the poles. There were times that they were opposite directions from each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
The posts aren't that far apart.
Crazy.
And then if you looked up higher at the flags, they were almost straight out. So, I mean, it just depends on which gust of wind would have got it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, could he have got it? Sure. But, at the same time, I don't know that a Hail Mary would have been a whole lot more successful either.
Right. I just think, like he was saying a minute ago, I don't know why they would try to kick that. If you know you got a bad leg, you got swirling winds. I mean, like I said, if you got to drill it, well, how are you drilling something 60 yards when you got a jacked up leg? You're right. I think the Hail Mary would have been the better option.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, so that's why you say you just drill it. You just go in there, you go through your progression, and you smash it, and you hope that it's on track and that the wind doesn't blow it up. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when you got a swirling wind, like those things happen. That's why you want it That's why you want to get closer.
Well, that's the comment that Gino made, though. Like, the Packers have another kicker, Lucas Harvesek or something like that, who's already made a 61-yard field goal in Arizona. He's got a better leg than McManus does, and McManus is hurt as it is. If you're going to try that 64-yard field goal, do it with Harvesek, who's actually healthy and who has a better leg. Even if he misses it, at least it's going to be a better shot than having an injured, hobbled McManus who can barely make a 56-yarder when healthy.
I mean, to be fair, they were saying on the broadcast that would have been the furthest kick in Lambeau history. So let's not pretend like this was going to be the easiest slam dunk kick because, I mean...
Technically, no, it wouldn't have, because remember when the Bengals were there a couple weeks ago? The guy from Cincinnati made a 67-yard field goal, but the Packers called the timeout on the kick, so it didn't count. So he actually did make a 67-yard field goal on his first try. That was the longest attempted field goal, and then he kicked it a second time, and he ended up like 3 yards short.
Yeah, well, I mean, it only counts if it counts. So
I'm saying, like, he attempted like
he made it. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of times in pregame workout that they smash it from further too, but until it puts points on the board, it doesn't count.
I feel like how he's arguing the analytics. I mean, he's arguing these analytics pretty hard.
That would be like saying I broke a world record running, but no one was around.
Well, like, you said on the broadcast, they said that was going to be the longest field goal. That obviously would have been the longest field goal because the guy kicked it from 67 yards like 3 weeks prior to that.
Yeah, but did it count?
He kicked it twice, though. Both times he missed it, but he still attempted a longer field goal than 64 yards. So technically, the way the broadcast made it sound like that would have been...
No. They were saying if he made it, it would be the furthest one in Lambeau history.
I thought
why this is confusing.
No, I thought they said on the broadcast that the field goal attempt was going to be the longest attempt at Lambeau Field.
No. It would be the longest completion.
Okay. That's the way the broadcast made it sound like. The broadcast made it sound like that was going to be the longest attempted field goal at Lambeau. I'm like, no, it's not, because the guy kicked it 3 yards longer a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, no, it would have been the longest make.
Yeah, I think the longest right now is like 58. I don't even think anyone's hit a 60-yarder at Lambeau yet.
No, and that was kind of their point.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, because of the swirling wind, the further away you get, the higher you got to kick it. Like those are going to get harder and harder to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're in a bowl. I mean, it's going to swirl. So, yeah, I get that. Cam Little is a beast. I wonder if how he would fare kicking that. Given he's got a cannon for a leg.
Like him and Brandon Aubrey would be the two that would have the best shot to make a 64-yarder at Lambeau. But even those two, I don't think would make it with the wind. Well,
that's the thing, is they'd have the leg for it. I still don't know that they make it, right? Now, if McManus was healthy, that first one, his trial kick probably would have made it. Right, because I mean, it was online. It just ended up, 4 or 5 yards short.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a rough watch. Not debating that at all, Raf.
But it
was rough.
Yeah.
It's a good thing the bad games were primetime, because otherwise you'd have been changing over to any other game.
Right.
So.
I think that game really meant more for the Packers, because I think the Eagles, I mean, I hate to say, but they kind of have our division kind of sewn up. I think that game was more specific for the Packers. I mean, they really needed to have that, considering the division they're in and how tight that division is.
So I disagree there. Yeah, and only because you want the playoffs to go through your town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. As it sits right now, they have the tiebreaker against Seattle, who's now sitting at number 2.
Packers are in their division right now, though.
What's that?
Are you talking about the Packers or the Eagles right now?
Eagles.
Okay, yeah. Eagles are the 1 seed, though, aren't they?
Because they won.
Okay.
And they have the tiebreaker against Seattle because we have 2 conference losses. They only have 1 conference loss. Their other loss came in the AFC. So they have the tiebreaker against Seattle. So winning to keep pace for that number 1 overall seed is really important because Seattle is 7-2. The Rams are 7-2, right? So if you're going to keep pace for that number 1 spot, you got to win.
I think like what Jay said though too. I think this game was a more important game for the Packers because now not only are they in 3rd place in their division, but they're the 7th seed in the NFC. And if you look at the rest of their schedule,
I think that's where I was kind of going from. I
like,
mean, it's great to have number one.
They have the Giants and the Vikings the next 2 weeks, which are 2 games they should win.
Those are very, very winnable games.
But then after that, you have the Lions, the Bears, the Broncos, the Bears, the Ravens, and the Vikings to finish out the season. Like, their final 6 games is a freaking gauntlet where you're letting games like this get away that you can win.
It's curious the way that you worded that, because you're like, oh, the next 2 games are very winnable.
Yeah.
And then you include the Vikings in the gauntlet. So
I see where you're going with that one, Bo. That's mean. That's just mean, Bo.
Week 18 is in Minnesota. That's always a place that the Packers always struggle. Is at Minnesota. That week 18 at Minnesota, where if you have a playoff spot on the line, you know damn well Minnesota's going to come in there and trying to knock the Packers out of the playoffs, similar to what the Lions did 3 years ago when the Lions came to Lambeau and all they had to do was win and knock the Packers out of the playoffs. That's why I call it a gauntlet, just because it's not an easy place for the Packers to go, especially the last game of the season, where if you're fighting for a playoff spot that last game of the season, even if Minnesota's out, they're not going to just roll over and let the Packers beat them in Minnesota. Like, they're going to come out and try to knock Green Bay out.
Well, yeah, anytime you can be this, like, if your season's over and you can be the spoiler, you do it.
Yeah, that's why. That's
like,
why
hey,
I included them.
We're going to Cancun, so are you.
That's why I included them as part of the gauntlet, because I think realistically, you look at the Packers' final 6 games. I do think it's going to come down to week 18 for them to make the playoffs. Like, I don't see them clinching before that. And if they're like tied with somebody, or if they're on the outside looking in, I'm not going to be shocked if Minnesota ends their season before they can even win it.
And that's why I felt like I understand where Bo's coming from, though. I understand his point of view where you're trying to get number one, have it go through you. But at the same time, is that really more important than Green Bay, who may not even make the playoffs, period? I mean, look, right now, they're in 7th spot. Hold on, you got 7th spot. You got San Fran, that's a half game back, and you got Carolina, who's at 5-5, is probably 1 game back. I mean, very easily, like you said, though, they do have a tough schedule, and if they slide any more with the inconsistency that Green Bay has, they may not even be there, period. That's why I felt like it's more important, because, I mean, just to get into the playoffs.
And the one thing that the Packers have not historically struggled with, but the one thing that the Packers have really struggled with the last 2 seasons, they've lost to the Browns and the Panthers this year. So I'm going to take those 2 games out of the mix for a second. They had 6 losses last year. They lost to the Eagles, the Vikings twice, the Lions twice last year, and then they lost the Bears in week 18. And now this year they lost to the Eagles. So of their 9 losses, and then they lost to the Eagles in the playoffs last year. So of their 9 losses that they've had so far the last 2 years, 7 of the 9 losses have come to basically playoff caliber teams.
Sure.
When you look at the back end of that schedule, Denver's a playoff caliber team. Baltimore, the way Baltimore's playing right now and the way that Pittsburgh's playing right now, Baltimore is probably going to be a playoff caliber team when they meet. Lions are a playoff caliber team. The Bears are currently the 6th seed in the NFC. Like, if the Packers don't figure out how to beat these teams with winning records, they're going to be like in big trouble the second half of their season, because pretty much the back half of that schedule are all teams that are either in the playoffs right now or at least on the verge of making the playoffs because of where their record is.
Yeah, I mean, the way that their offense is playing right now, it wouldn't shock me if they missed the playoffs anyway, even if they weren't playing playoff caliber teams. So, yeah, I mean,
that's a good point.
At the end of the day, like you got to be able to complete passes, and they haven't been able to do that. And you can credit some of that with the Eagles' defense there, but I mean, a lot of that stuff was just off target.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Eagles weren't doing any better. Like, that game was just ugly across the board. But yeah, I mean, Green Bay has some gremlins they have to work out.
They do. And now they lost another player for the season as Eldon Jenkins fractured his leg yesterday, so that's a big blow to their offensive line.
Yeah, I just feel like this Packers team is coming up small in big moments. And, you know, yeah, the game mattered for them, but there's been other games that's been huge for them too, because they're losing to teams they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at an NFC that has some very stacked teams at the top. Mm-hmm. So that 7th seed is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I don't necessarily think it's the Packers that are coming up short. Like, obviously the team itself is, but sure. I think it's just Matt LaFleur, because right now you look at Matt LaFleur and his play calling.
Sure.
His play calling is so damn vanilla that it's becoming so predictable to the defense that's what's coming. And I think that's a big reason why they're coming up short, because pretty much everybody on the defense knows what he's going to do on 3rd down. You're either going to run the ball up the middle, or you're going to throw a quick screen to the outside and hope you can beat the defender to the corner. And if you can't, then you're punting. Like, the defense has figured out this offense already. And LaFleur refuses to make adjustments or change.
Well, you also have to go to what's open. And, I mean, they don't have super burners to be stretching the field. So that's why a lot of those are that shorter, let's just try and get this first down.
They got Golden and Watson.
Yeah, but you don't have the time for him to get open.
Yeah, that way.
So, I mean, you got to have a guy that's either like ridiculous elite speed that can pop off immediately, or you got to have a line that lets your speed guy get open, right? They don't have either one because he's fast, but he's not like top 5 in the league fast.
Golden. This is Golden had the second fastest time behind Worthy, the 4.2640.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was a 4.2.
Yeah, Golden's the burner.
I thought he was a high 4.3.
No,
which at this point is like middle of the league, right?
Yeah, Golden's the burner, and even before Watson, I mean Watson before he tore his ACL was like a 4.34. So Watson was a burner too. Now he's closer to like the 4.4 right now because he's still recovering. But like if both of those guys were healthy, you would have 2 burners on the outside. But like you said, the problem is the offensive line has been so pathetically bad that Love doesn't have the time to get into a deep drop and fire it.
Well, and of course it's going to get worse now, right? So, I mean, yeah, some of the vanilla play calling happens because of bad offensive line play. I mean, when you look at Seattle through the years, even though we had dudes all over the roster, our play calling, specifically when Bevel was here, it was very, very pedestrian play calling. Unless we had a ton of injuries, then it would actually get creative. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that our offensive line was just trash. So I'm enjoying this like new version that where the offensive line isn't just an absolute liability the whole day.
Hey, I was noticing it. Do you think it seems like this year, maybe this is just my perception, but it seems like this year there haven't been as many 100-yard game rushers, single rush. And I wonder if is that because of maybe the running back by committee? Is that what's kind of taking that away? Or is it that the defenses have just gotten better at defending the run?
Some of it just has to do with offensive lines actually creating gaps.
Yeah,
right.
Or you end up with guys like Seattle where you have Bradford who can't even get in somebody's way. So, I mean, all of those things hurt the running game. So, plus when you look at it, you have a lot of running backs that are kind of speed guys. Yeah. So you're looking at linebackers getting smaller and faster, right? Yeah. So they're able to kind of keep pace with those running backs. That's where you'll start to see teams maybe look at bringing in a fullback or getting some of those bigger halfbacks like a Derrick Henry, because now all of a sudden a 230-pound linebacker instead of a 250-pound linebacker has a much harder time getting them to the ground because they're more of a speed guy trying to be able to live in coverage. All of a sudden, those bigger backs can start running those people over. So, I mean, that's why you see things in the NFL kind of come in waves. It's always just, this worked, everybody does it. And then it's like, okay, well, now that's not really working anymore. So let's bring it back the other direction. So you always see these waves as far as, just kind of how positions are used.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it just seems like the last few games, I mean, there have been some, I think it's been 48 times, just 48 times this year so far that a guy has gotten over 100 yards rushing. And that just seems awfully low, like you said, compared to what we've seen. And I mean, like the last night's game was a good example where Barkley typically last year had like 2,000 yards, and he's looking like way off pace to try to get back to that.
So one thing I would suggest you look at is when you're looking at those running back totals, how many all-purpose yards do they have? Like how many receiving yards do they get? Because a lot of those are swing passes and stuff that, although technically are a pass, are essentially a long handoff, right?
And that's true. That's a good point.
So even though in the rushing category, it may not look great, I would definitely say take a look at the advanced analytics and see how many receiving yards those guys got. Because it's not like you generally have a running back 40 yards down the field launching the ball, right? Or if a running back's catching the ball, they're within 5 yards, 10 yards maybe. So it is one thing that I would take a look at, because a lot of those running backs now have the same amount of receiving yards as they do running yards. And when you look at it that way, it's like, okay, well, yeah, the rushing yards are going to dip because they're using them as a receiver, but really a lot of those are just long handoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it where they do a lot more passing into the flat and then letting them go for it. So I get what you're saying, and I guess if you look at it that stat point, then yeah, because you're right, because technically it would be credit to them rushing, it gives credit to them receiving. So I understand. So I guess from that point it makes sense, but yeah, it's just it's interesting.
Yeah, especially because like in those scenarios when it's off to the flat, it's still a forward pass. It's one air yard. Right. So like that doesn't matter. But it goes down as a reception.
Right.
So,
we just got breaking news that came through from the NBA. The Mavericks plan to fire GM Nico Harrison this afternoon.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen at some point.
That'll happen. Speaking of firings, Brian Dable finally out. How about that?
Yeah.
Only 2 years late, but I think him letting Dart go under concussion protocol for the 4th time this year, and then letting Russell Wilson engineer a loss.
Oh, that's what they were saying yesterday. He got fired because this is the 4th game this year that they've lost in the 4th quarter.
Well, and how did you not give Winston a shot?
That was a thing. Like they were saying, like this wasn't like the Denver game where you were up 26-7 in the 4th quarter and like you just couldn't stop Denver. You had a 20-10 lead with 4:43 left in the game, where essentially you get 2 first downs, the game is over. You mean to tell me that Jameis Winston can't get you 2 first downs? Because Russell Wilson sure as hell can't. He goes backwards.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would you even bring Winston there if you had no intentions of ever using him? And clearly, he has no intention of using him, because there was, like you said, last night was a perfect example.
Winston makes more money than Russell Wilson, and he's got 2 years on his contract as opposed to 1 year for Wilson. So at this point, like, why wouldn't you want Winston as your backup right now?
Well, not only that, but I mean, when you're looking at it, it's not even like it was one failed drive and they couldn't get it done. Their defense actually did okay in that scenario. They ended up with 4 different drive opportunities, right?
Yeah.
I think he had 12 plays for 7 yards.
And for 7 yards in the last 2 drives, he had 8 plays for -8 yards because he took a sack and then he fumbled later in the game and had to run backwards to pounce on it.
I mean, when you're watching that sort of struggle, I don't know why you wouldn't be like, hey, Jameis, get out there. Try not to let this fall apart. So, yeah, I think Russ really got him fired there. But, again, that was just Russ engineering a failure because, 2-score lead, 4 minutes to go. There's no reason you should lose that game.
And even after the Bears made it 20-17 and the Giants and then there was like 2:29 left, I think the Giants had the ball for like 56 seconds. Even when you're up 20-17, you saw Russell Wilson fail on 2 drives before that. That should have been your key to bring in Winston for 1 freaking drive and be like, Bears have 1 timeout in a 2-minute warning. We need 1 first down and the game is over. Can you get your fat butt out here and get me 11 yards?
And the thing is Winston probably could.
Yeah.
Right? Like Winston could have probably chewed up the clock. Now, do I think he's a great quarterback? I don't. Right? Do I think at this point he's better than Russ?
Yeah.
I think most people in the league are better than Russ at this point.
I don't think Russ is going to get another job after this year. I think he's pretty much shown that he's done.
I think that loss right there almost guarantees he doesn't.
Right. I don't know what has happened to him since he's left Seattle, but he's just.
It happened while he was in Seattle.
But not at this level, though. Like, this version of Russell Wilson is just he's just gone downhill so fast the last 2 years.
Well, there was a distinct difference in the kind of weapons he had around him.
Yeah.
So, did we have a bad offensive line? Sure. But did you have great talent all around him? Absolutely. Yeah. So, then he goes to a Denver team that it wasn't devoid of talent, but it wasn't awesome. Right? They had a good defense.
I mean, in his credit, though, he didn't have a bad second year with Denver because I think he had like 22 touchdowns and 6 picks with Denver that second year. Like, he didn't play terrible.
He did, though. So that's where the stats lie to you. If you look on a stat sheet, it looks pretty solid. What it doesn't show you is the fact that he was only scoring when his defense got him in plus territory.
Well, yeah, that way. Yeah.
Every time he had to drive the field, he couldn't do it. In fact, a lot of times it was 3 and outs. If you look at his 3 and outs for the year, he actually didn't play well at all. He just happened to take advantage when his defense put him in good opportunities. So on a stat sheet, years later, you're like, oh yeah, no, it looked like he was fine. But if you watched football that year, you're just like, yeah, he's played terrible. Could he score when his defense got him on the plus 40? Yeah. You know who else can do that? Just about every quarterback in the league.
I do think that Jameson, he doesn't have to be the best in the league, because if he's the best in the league, then he's looking for a starter job. But when he is, I think he's still a good serviceable backup, though, which I think is what we're talking about. Like, why, in that particular instance, you have a good serviceable backup. Why not? Because you already know that. That's why Wilson got bitched, because he wasn't performing. That's why he went to Dart. So if you know he is not performing, why would you not then give Winston the opportunity to do what he can do for you as a backup? I mean, I don't understand that.
Like, I get that teams have the opportunity to carry 3 quarterbacks because one of them is considered your emergency quarterback.
Yeah.
But why are you going to be spending $11 million on Jameis Winston and another $8 million on Russell Wilson to not play Jameis Winston? Like, if you're going to have an emergency 3rd-string quarterback, get one that's only costing you like $1 million that you're not going to use. Like, you're paying Jameis Winston like legitimate backup money to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is when you have Russ come in, go back-to-back 3 and outs. I'm trying something else because I'm trying to salvage a win, especially when you then in turn give them a touchdown. They're within 3. You're like, hey, you know what, Winston, why don't you give it a shot? Let's see if you can eat a W today.
Right. Because he had to know he was already on the hot seat. So why would you go back to what wasn't working for you in the beginning, only to have it fail you in the end? I mean, you're right. I mean, I would try Jim Winston. What do you got to lose?
Well, especially because Russ was a known quantity, right?
Right.
Like, he got benched for a reason.
Right.
Just couldn't get any kind of chemistry going with the team. So now you're going to bring him out there. And of course, this is all retrospect, whatever. But even in the moment, I probably wouldn't have brought Russ out because even when they had all of their guys, he couldn't get him in the win category.
Right.
So you mean to tell me that somehow Russ is going to be better without their running back and their starting receiver and like that? That's not a real thing.
Right.
So
especially like you said, he's a downfield throwing quarterback, and there's not really much outside of maybe Wan'Dale Robinson. You don't really have much to throw downfield. So you do got to kind of go to the short game.
Yeah, which is where he doesn't excel, right? Like he likes to launch the ball downfield. But when you are trying to win a game and chew up the clock, you don't need a home run ball.
No.
You need a first down.
Right.
So, and it's something that we watched here in Seattle for years when he was here, is he had a real tendency to go 3 and out. A bunch of those years after his first few, right, when he really started buying into his own BS, and he led the league in 3 and outs. You can blame some of that on the offensive line, of course, but at the same time, if you are, in the top 5 in sacks, a lot of which because you're just scrambling around a lot of the time for no reason, and then you have a ton of explosive plays, but you lead the league in 3 and outs. That's a decision-making thing, right? So, it's one of the things that was super frustrating, especially when he was here. We trade away Unger and go get Jimmy Graham, arguably one of the best receiving tight ends for that era.
Yeah, you got him from the Saints. I remember that trade.
Yeah. So, here in Seattle, we're like, okay, let's go. Like that could be awesome, right?
But he doesn't throw to tight ends.
He doesn't throw to tight ends. They were trying to make Jimmy Graham block. And you know what he can't do is that. So yeah, no, it was unfortunate. But no, I mean, you've seen this coming for years. And then, again, when he was in Denver, yeah, he was able to pad his stats in a way that made him look good. But when you watch the film, you're like, yeah, he didn't play particularly well.
Nope.
So, no, at the end of the day, I think this particular loss really does limit his ability to land on another team, because now you've seen him be bad in 3 locations.
Right. He also, I mean, even as he's even be bad at the backup spot, so you can't be a starter or a backup. Wow.
No. I do think they beat the Raiders, though.
Hold on a minute. Now, Donna, I love you, girl. I think you're a nice person. At least I thought you were a nice person. These last couple of days, I've been catching strays, so I don't get it. And let me be honest. Let me be perfectly clear. If you're going to show up late to the meeting, at least bring donuts. And in this case, hold on. In this case, the form of donuts is be nice to Jay.
Well,
because right now you're just peeing all over me, and I don't understand it.
Is it really a stray? I mean, we were talking about bad teams.
Oh, see there, that's a backwards. Okay, I see what you did there, Bo. Damn. And by the way, just so you know, it doesn't affect me no more, Don. You can call about the Cowboys all you want, man. Look, 30 damn years. What am I gonna do? Right. Honestly, they're
just always sad. This is our year to be sad.
Oh, he did it again. No, look, as long as Jerry's there, it's all good. This is just a comment for. Oh, this is just. Oh, okay. Because I couldn't tell. Your strains are so good, I can't tell. Oh, I appreciate that, Don. I love you too, girl. Don't tell my wife I said that though. She gets jealous. By the way, has anybody noticed that Dustin is wearing his work shirt from Home Depot?
It's actually not my work shirt from Home Depot. This is an Under Armour shirt.
Oh, Home Depot.
And it's salmon.
That's a salmon.
This is actually orange.
No, it is very orange. Yes. I just figured your colors were off or something.
No, don't have the salmon shirt on today. It's not golfing day today. That's my golfing.
Is that what it is? It's golfing day that you wear salmon?
Yeah, no, that really is my golfing shirt because it's like one of those light like dry fit shirts. That's literally the only shirt that I wear when I go golfing.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't. I think I don't want to be delusional. I do think we can beat the Raiders. I think the Raiders they're struggling pretty big, so we should be able to win against a struggling team. I think we got to.
If you don't beat the Raiders,
I know.
I mean, just pack it in.
But see, though, here's the thing. I actually don't want to. And I don't want to be. I want to go so bad that the fans start to revolt against Jerry, and it's time for an uprising. And sometimes for an uprising, you have to go to so bad that the fans are just so angry that they're going to force Jerry to change at some level. At some level. Like,
that'll never happen because that'll give Jerry more attention, and he likes the attention.
He does like the attention.
So if you're going to do that might even force Jerry Jones to do even worse because it's going to get him more attention.
Well, no, he's got to be competitive. So that's the thing is he doesn't want to be in there because they're awful, right? Like middle of the pack is as bad as Jerry really can stomach, but he doesn't need to win. I know he always talks about needing to win, but he likes to be in that middle to upper echelon because then you're in the conversation, and that's all he cares about, right?
But you know what I don't understand, though, Bo? I think everybody is tired. And if I'm in Jerry's head, I'm like, how can you just look at so much losing and having Stephen A. make fun of you, everybody's making fun of you? How can you stomach that? I couldn't stomach that. If I was in Jerry Jones's shoes and I was owner of the Dallas Cowboys, I would want to win. I want to make money too. Don't get me wrong. I want to make money, but I want to win too because I don't want to be that embarrassed all the damn time. At some point, doesn't Jerry just get sick of it to the point where he should want to change?
I mean, I think everyone around the league would like to see some change just because he's crazy.
And at what point? But at what point does even Stephen Jones, his son, say, "Look, Pop, I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of Stephen A. With his cowboy hat and cigar poking fun at us every damn time." And you can't tell me you don't hear the noise on social media, this, that, and the other. Cow turds, this, that. Isn't he sick of it? I mean, is it? If I was Stephen, I'd be like, "Yo, Dad, I'm sick of it, man. Or I'm going to the courts and say, look, my dad is so inept. Maybe it's time, we take legal control over the team. I don't know, something."
Why though? Because winning is like an ancillary piece to them. It's about the money and the notoriety of it. And those things haven't faded at all. They increase in value every year.
Mhm.
They're in the conversation every year. They're in front of the cameras constantly. It's exactly all the things they want.
Mhm.
If winning accidentally happens, great. But that's it, right? Like they don't actually care. It's honestly, your Cowboys are so similar to my Mariners in the way that as long as the stadium is making money, they don't care about winning.
Right.
I mean, now we made it as far as we've ever made it this year, and that was amazing. They actually made some moves and whatever, right? I would bet, based on the history of the Mariners, we probably don't re-sign a bunch of those people, even though nobody's asking for crazy money. Like you could re-sign the whole team if you wanted. I bet we don't.
Yeah, but I see him in the booth when he's happy, when they're winning, he's excited, he's laughing, this, that, and then when they're losing, I see that depressed look on his face too. Like, I gotta feel like he cares to some extent, but maybe to your point, it's not enough. Even though he looks sad, it's not enough for him to change. I get that too. Which just blows my mind.
He looks sad for the camera. He knows that it's going to pan to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, he goes out, gets in his car, and is like,
We only lost by 10 points this week. We gave up 50. We scored 40. We played well.
But again, though, doesn't winning bring even more? I mean, he's getting money. We all know he's getting paid. But if you're winning, would that even double what you're getting as well? If you know what I'm saying?
You don't have any problem putting fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Your marketing machine is second to none. Like their ability to promote their team, and not just in the States, worldwide, right?
Yeah,
but when you look at jersey sales, when you look at people in the stands, like there's no shortage of merch bought and people there. So at the end of the day, no, he doesn't need to change anything when you're looking at it from a business perspective. He's doing everything he has to do. He signs a couple of people for big contracts, which mostly just keeps you in the conversation again. Doesn't necessarily make you better. But that's all he's doing, right? I mean, even it was a podcast earlier in the year, right? It's he basically said it's like a reality show, right? It's for the ratings. So even when he's looking sad, is he bummed out his team didn't win? Sure. Does he stop facing the camera and be like, "Ooh, I made $100 million today"? Yeah, probably.
That's what we need to do, man.
Ooh, I made $100 million today.
And yeah, like that's the thing is, I'm surprised there's not a Cowboys brand TV, like a.
You know what? That's correct.
With Samsung.
I mean, what the Yankees have their own network. Dodgers got their own. I'm really surprised.
I mean, physical TVs. Like, I'm surprised they don't have a deal with Samsung or Panasonic or something where it has the Cowboys logo in the corner that you're gonna smash. Maybe it has an unbreakable screen and it's 10 times the price. Like, I don't know, but like. As much as Cowboys fans destroy their own gear, it would not shock me.
They say, buy one, get one. That's the Cowboys special. That way, when you break the first one, you still got the free one coming behind.
That's why there's TVs on Black Friday every year, because that's when you guys stop playing football and you need another one, because everybody else, they don't need another TV every year. But that's what goes on sale every year.
That's the special every year because they know people are going to have to go buy it.
That's exactly it.
Hey, sad guy, you ain't got no room to talk, damn it. You ain't never had a Super Bowl. You just be quiet over there.
Every time
I don't expect one either.
Every time you see a video of a Walmart doorbuster, it is people losing their minds, a lot of times with a Cowboys hat on, trying to snag it. And 0 times are people are like, I wonder what happened to their last TV. You see the cowboy hat and you're like, nah, I get it.
I get it. Hey, listen, I almost wanted to break my TV one time, and my wife stopped and said, Jay, I know you're mad, but we ain't buying another TV. Leave that shit alone. We anchored it to the wall for a reason.
Yep.
But it is, man. It's extremely frustrating.
For sure.
it's man, I tell you. I've never wished death on anybody in my life, and I don't wish it on Jerry. I don't. Even as much as I hate Jerry, I don't wish
It
it
was
on
like,
him.
man, we got to mute
But-
you right away. Jeez.
But I'm just saying, if somebody wanted to take control of that team and force him out, I wouldn't be upset about it. Matter of fact, I'd probably throw a celebration.
And yeah, at some point I will get them made. I got to get more sponsors because they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
But I do need to get some made. But today's not that day.
Are you sure?
I'll tell you this though. Hey, real quick, if I can just talk basketball for just 1 minute.
Okay, random.
Well, no, I mean, I got to get off Jerry Jones for a minute, man. It depresses me. I got to get back to a happy feeling because you can only take so much depression, Bo. But no, the Rockets, I think
depressed. You can bet on games and be more depressed by using the QR code on the screen. Up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee in case you bet on the Cowboys. Use the QR code, bet alongside us right here on Coast to Coast. And of course, if you are on the Pacific Northwest, use the QR code on the screen here, True Fusion Gym, any of the 3 locations, Bellevue, Ballard, University Village, free 5-day pass by using that QR code, Pilates Boot Camp, Yoga Bar, and more. They have reformers coming to their Ballard location soon. So if you are a Pilates fan, that will also be going to one of their locations. Stay tuned for that announcement. Find your edge, True Fusion Gym. Okay, go ahead. Talk basketball.
I was going to say, but if I even try to do Pilates, I'd probably kill myself. I'm not flexible or any of that kind of stuff anymore, Bo. No, basketball, yeah, man. I want to talk about the Rockets for a second. I think Kevin Durant is doing a good job fitting in with the Rockets. I was kind of worried about him. I was kind of worried about how that was going to look in terms of the team. But they're actually looking pretty good. Now, we still do need a point guard. I mean, we're kind of still struggling a little bit that spot, but I like what they're doing. I thought they played Milwaukee pretty good last night. I thought they played San Antonio at times during that game. I felt like they played them pretty good. And then there was some times when they didn't look good. But
yeah.
But I feel like the Rockets are looking pretty good. They're I think right now they're in 5th. But Kevin Durant, I mean, he's been scoring over 20 plus. I think he's averaging about 25 to 27 points. I know he put 31 on Milwaukee the other night. But what do you guys think of their chances are of going up against? I mean, OKC is still the reigning champ, so I mean that's the team, right? But what do you think their chances are of getting there? I know we're still early in the season, but what do you think about the Rockets?
So getting to the playoffs or like to the championship?
I think they'll get to the playoffs. I mean, but realistically, what do you think their chances are of being serious contenders for a title?
I feel like they're kind of a middle of the road as far as a contender. Obviously, they're going to make it because more than half the league makes it to the playoffs. So
right.
They're going to make it. And I mean, you knew Durant was going to be fine. He doesn't have to be the leader.
Yeah.
Right.
Anytime he hasn't had to be the leader, he plays great.
Exactly.
Right. He just goes and plays basketball, and that's all he wants to do. So you knew that part was going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, obviously, they're not a top contender, but I would say they're middle of the road. They're probably a 2nd round exit kind of team.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a team that was going to dethrone the Thunder this year, I think the Spurs could do it. Spurs look really good right now with Wembanyama. They added De'Aaron Fox to that team. They got Stephen Castle. Like, they have a lot of young pieces on that team. And then you mix that in with Wembanyama. That team is gelling really quick.
And I'm really curious to see what they're going to look like. I mean, as good as they're playing right now in that number 2 spot in the standings, but when they get Harper back from injury, I mean, I just can't imagine how much better that team is going to be once they get Harper back.
Right.
Well, Wemby really took a step forward this year.
Yeah. Wemby became the first player in NBA history last night to have a 38 or 35, 10, 5, and 5 night last night.
Man, that dude's a beast.
He is.
But I will say this: he is definitely. I don't consider him to be a center. I look at him more as like a forward. Is that even the position he plays? I mean, they don't have. They have him at center.
He's not a center. He's not a forward. He's a 7'5" unicorn that just goes wherever you want him to go on the floor.
Because I did see I did see Sagoon, like when he was trying to be down low in the paint. I saw Sagoon knock him back a few steps. Like he could not hold that low post for anything.
Well, of course, Wemby is not a big dude as far as being thick, but he is that positionless player. Like he plays all over the court, and I mean his skill is awesome. But yeah, if he played in a more physical league, he'd have a much harder time. But we're playing in Marshmallow Land, so you don't have to worry about getting beat up.
The comment that the Pistons are looking good and that Cade Cunningham joined Michael Jordan last night. Yes, he had 45 points last night or 41 points, whatever he had, but he was 14 of 45 shooting. That is a horrendous shooting night that it took you 45 shots to get the 46 points. So yes, that final line looks good, but to go 14 of 45 shooting, that is not a very good shooting.
That's a Russell Westbrook stat.
You should have had with how good Cade Cunningham is. If he puts up 45 shots, he should be scoring 60 points because he should be making 25 to 30 of those shots.
I agree.
I mean, all things being equal, though, a lot of times when guys are jacking tons of shots up, the efficiency drops. Like that. That's not super uncommon. Like I get what you're saying, but if that were the case, Kobe would have had 80 all the time.
No, but like a lot of Cade Cunningham shots though are like layups too. Like he doesn't just sit out by the perimeter. Like he gets to the rim, and like last night he was I think 1 of 12 shooting threes, which that's a horrible night shooting threes, and yet he kept shooting it. But even then, like Cade Cunningham's a guy that's like 6'7", 6'8" point guard. He has no trouble getting to the rim. Like if you're struggling that much to shoot the ball, drive to the rim and draw the foul and just get to the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, Jeremy says this because he's a Detroit fan.
No, I know. That's why I brought that up.
Man, good stuff.
Hey, is today a holiday?
Yeah, Veterans Day.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I didn't realize Veterans Day got here. Well, happy Veterans Day to anybody who served, by the way.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, a couple of things that we didn't get to yesterday because we were talking about cows. Was for whatever reason, Lenny Wilkes here in Seattle passes away. 3-time Hall of Famer, and I did get the opportunity to meet him this last year when his statue was unveiled.
Awesome,
super nice guy. And then, of course, the former commissioner of the NFL,
right,
who really was the one that shaped what the NFL is today. Right, Roger Goodell took the baton and made it the most profitable thing ever. But when it comes to the way that the league is put together and the kind of TV deals that have come from it and all of that, that was all,
Thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, very kind of a bummer, right? Now, in both cases, they were both in their 80s, so it's not like it was something that you didn't expect at some point.
Yeah, it's sad to see them go to the Lord, but man, talk about a great long life. I mean,
cows and cheese.
Cows and cheese, baby.
Yeah, it was a weird show.
Yeah, that's incredible. I always say if you make it to your 80s, man, that's a hell of a life.
Yeah, it's a good run. That's a good run.
Yeah, that's a hell of a. Because you figure the national average for life is like 77 years. I think is the average lifespan is about 77. So if you make it to your 80s, you're already doing better than the average person.
Yeah, it's funny. Like my family, people tend to live for a long time. I feel like I'm probably not one of those people. I feel like I've done enough dumb that my body's gonna be like, hey, you know what? Maybe you should go take a dirt nap forever.
Yeah, that's. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I always feel like it's never how long you live. It's just how well you live. And if you live it well, that's what matters. I feel like anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, depend. Yeah. Well, we got stat guys, so I guess it's.
Oh man, just the random stray right at the end.
I'm giving Dustin hell. Look, nobody takes more crap on this show than I do. Okay, I get it from all angles. Okay, so I got to share some of my crap with stat guy, or I feel like he feels left out. And I don't want him to feel left out.
I don't know that that's true. Like, I'm not picky. I give it to everybody.
Bo is an equal distributor of hate.
I am. Like, if you're doing dumb stuff on screen or really in the comments section, it doesn't matter to me.
I feel like me or Dustin would be that dude at was it Full Metal Jacket? Hey, Joker, as you're sitting on the toilet. Hey, Joker.
That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. And who knows? Maybe there will be changes to the panel. You never know. I know. Yes, I have no conscience. That's what it is. Hey, no, I'm just an equal opportunity hater. That's really what it is. So,
equal opportunity hater.
Hey, that being said, be sure to like and subscribe. It does help us bring our stuff to you. And if you don't believe us, there is a reason that content creators tell you that in every episode. It's because it actually does help. So hit that like button. It is huge for us. Otherwise, we are going to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.